Well, here you have the path. So if you lose something, if you don't remember any link, here in the path you will find everything. Okay? And we have this spreadsheet to share women names that we want to make visible on Wikipedia. So if you want to add some names and some data about those women, here you have we have a lot. And some people started to add the images to Google Drive, and we will see how to move those images to Wikimedia Commons. That's the main goal of this training. So let me show you Wikimedia Commons, the platform in which we work today and all the weekend. Stored on Wikimedia Commons is open. It's free. It's for free, and it has an open license, or is in the public domain, because it's a free culture project to share visual knowledge and multimedia knowledge with the world. So we are working in this platform, and Wikimedia Commons has, you can see, it's a collection of millions of archives, and those archives are classified in categories. So that way you can find it better. VisibleWikiWomen is a category on Wikimedia Commons. So this is a kind of collection or shared album of women images, and all these images can be added to Wikipedia articles, and they are women that maybe some of them don't have an article yet, but maybe in the future they will have an article. And as you can see, we have women from the present or from the past. It's a collection of, in this moment, for this year, it's a collection that with more than 2,000 images in this moment. Here you have an upload wizard. This is a tool that we will use to upload the images to here, to this category. This is a tool with some automatic features, so it's more easy for you, especially if you are a newbie, to use this tool to upload the images. So let me change it to English to show you better how it works. Okay, so the first thing that you need to start on Wikimedia Commons is to log in to the site. For that, you need an account, a user account, and you can create your own account on Wikimedia Commons. In the same way that you create any account on any platform, just providing your a username, an email address, and that way you can start editing, uploading images, and so on. And this user account works here and works on Wikipedia also, and in other Wikimedia platforms. It's the same user and the same password. I am logged in. My username is Señorita Leona. When you log in the first time, you will see your username here, probably in red. And if you want to, you can go to your username and add something here, just to say hello to the wiki world. But let's see how to upload an image here. I will start with an image that it is from my own authorship. It is an image that a photo that I take it some time ago. I am the author. This is the more easy case in this campaign, when you have your own photos to share. It doesn't a photo that I find online. It's my own archive, and I will share it on Wikimedia Commons. So let's start it. Just clicking here, upload, and you can select your media files. I have a little folder with some archives that I want to share. This is the photo that I want to share. It is a photo that I taken on an event in which my friend Patricia, an amazing woman that works in technology and in human rights, and on that event she was talking, and I taken a photo, and that's it. The photo is in my computer now, and I will share the photo with the world. Once the photo is up in the platform, I will click continue. And the second stage, the second step, is to release my rights as an author to Wikimedia Commons. Why I had to do this? Because Wikimedia Commons is an open culture platform, and these archives must be free and open, because we will use it on all Wikipedias. There are like 300 different Wikipedias in different languages, and if you have you can illustrate all Wikipedias just only with one archive. So this archive will be shared with across all that website. So that's why we need a license, an open license that allows this kind of sharing across different websites. This file is my own work, so I will select that option. This is my username, but I can change it with my name if I want to. I will click next. And this is the description section. In this section, you will describe your images. In this case, the title is the same of the file name. This is an easy way to ensure that your archive and the email and has the same name of the woman, because otherwise it is difficult to identify the woman. And you can add a caption and a description. I will add something quickly. I recommend you to have the data for your images in a pad or something like this. That way it's more easy for you. This is a description in Spanish. And here you can select a day using this calendar, or in case you don't remember the exact moment in which the work was created, you can select the pencil and you can add, for instance, the year only. Here is the categories, This is a really important field for VisibleWikiWomen because we need this category here, VisibleWikiWomen 2020. Since we are using the upload wizard, this is automatically added to the upload. But if you want to add something here, for instance, I will add Creative Commons because she works she's part of the Creative Commons network. You can add any other category that can fit with the woman profile. And if you don't know what category to add, don't worry, you can do it later, or any other Wikimedian can do that for you. So don't worry. I think that we are really ready for just publish this image. As you can see, this is the license of the captions, because this is a kind of the caption are related with Wikidata, which is another project of Wikimedia. But the image will have a Creative Commons license. CC by share alike is the license. And I will publish the files. In this stage, you can add some metadata. For instance, the name. Of the person. Wikidata didn't find nothing here, so let's add VisibleWikiWomen, and we are ready to publish. And that's all. This is the file. These are links and the code to use it on Wikipedia. And if you want to upload more files, you can continue, or you can go to the homepage of Wikimedia Commons. I will go to the file here. And this is the license. And this is a template of VisibleWikiWomen. And you can see here the categories. So that's all. If this is the more easy case, when you have your own images in your own computer, in your own devices. You don't need to memorize all of this, because we have a guide for this, step by step. So when you will do it, you can follow these steps. But I want to show you another case because it is important to know what you can do when you aren't the owner of the photo. Let's go again to the upload wizard. Sorry. And let's use an image that you found in another place. I will upload this image. She is Monica Michelena. She's the General Secretary of the Charrúa Nation Council in Uruguay. This photo was taken during an event by this author, Laura Rubendottir. And this image has a Creative Commons license allowed on Wikimedia Commons, which is Creative Commons by share alike. So you can check what licenses are allowed in the path. Remember, if you don't remember, just go to the path and check that. Or in our guides, you can check what licenses are allowed. But this image is on Flickr in this moment, isn't on Wikimedia Commons, isn't on VisibleWikiWomen. So I will upload this image. I will start again with upload. I will select my archive. Here is Monica. Continue. This file is not my own work, so I will select that option, and you will see how many new fields are open, and you will need to fill that fields. The first and most important is the source, because with this isn't your own images. Wikimedians need to know the origin, the source, to check that the image has the license, the Creative Commons license that we need. So I just put it here the link. The author, she is Laura. I will copy and paste her name as the author here. And I have to tell Wikimedia Commons why I am sure that I have the right to publish this work. In this case, because the source is Flickr, there is a specific option here. But for other platforms, you can choose here the Creative Commons license. But I will use, for this case, just the Flickr option. There are another options. You can read more about all the options in the step-by-step guide. So I just show you this specific case. Once all the copyright information is done, I just click. Oops! This file already exists on Wikimedia Commons. Well, sorry, I didn't check before, but this allows me to tell you that an important step before start uploading is to check if if the image isn't or not on Wikimedia Commons. But doesn't matter. Just for the training session, it is okay to show you. The most important was the release rights section, and the next steps are the same that in the previous case. You need to add a caption, a description, a date. In this case, the metadata of the image has a date, so we are okay, and the category. And I can publish the file now because already exists on Wikimedia Commons, but don't worry. You can, if in your case the file isn't already on Wikimedia Commons, you just need to publish files, and that's all. So I don't want to extend much more. I think that it's better to listen to your questions and your doubts. So I will stop my sharing screen, and that's all. I think that it will be nice to before the question to listen to an experience of how a new person start on VisibleWikiWomen. So if Natalie is there, Natalie, are you ready?
Yeah.
Excellent. Thanks so much, Mariana. And there are lots of questions that are coming up, so we will have we will have time for going into them. And I've been trying to capture some of them as well, Mariana. But Natalie, welcome. I just wanted to briefly introduce you so you can then dive straight in. But Natalie is now here as an individual Wikipedian, a newbie Wikipedian volunteer. So welcome, Nat. But during March and some part of April, while she was working with the Women Fire Services UK, she and the Women Fire Services, which we'll talk about, joined us as a new partner for VisibleWikiWomen. And so Nat is just fresh off that experience. And over to you, Nat. Tell us a little bit more about how that was for you.
Hi, hello, yeah. I'm currently on furlough at the moment, so all of this feedback is in a personal capacity, but the majority of the work that I did was also in a volunteer capacity. But yeah, I mean, I wasn't aware of the Wikipedia, the statistics around women's images, so that was a bit of a shocker, but I can't say I was particularly surprised. I wasn't aware of it. And obviously visibility of women in the fire service is an issue as well. For example, around 6% of women in England are firefighters. And prior to getting involved in this, I had noticed just doing some research about the organisation when I started there, which wasn't that long ago, that there were women in the fire service that didn't have images on Wikipedia. And then I randomly was introduced to Anna Sewer, and we got onto the topic of the campaign, and yeah, it started from there. And I guess my experience as a new volunteer, I just found, everything from the first introductions and the initiation really welcoming and inclusive. There are also online sessions on every week, and they were really helpful. A good space to build up the relationship and to ask questions. What else? I learned that it's just fun, a really fun thing to do. It's a whole new world that I never thought I'd be a part of, even though I feel like I haven't really done much yet. It was really fun to get involved. And I guess I learned that there are no stupid questions. And that basically each piece of work, no matter how small, it's unique. It has its own journey, and it also each piece of work has its own issues and resolutions. I guess I learned that you do need to be patient, but that even doing something very small is worthwhile. And I guess I've learned that there's a lot more to be done in the area that I'm interested in.
Thank you, Natalie.
Thank you, Nat, as Mariana said. And just again, a reminder that the reason this year's campaign has focused on women in critical infrastructures of care is really the context in which we're in with COVID-19, which, as we've been saying, is collectively but differently experienced across the world. And so women firefighters, for instance, as with medical staff, as with folks in groceries, as with everyone who prepares food along the food chain, women are disproportionately farmers, for instance, though we often don't think of them as that. All of this is so important. So just, even as you think of 3 women firefighters from the UK coming onto Wikipedia, maybe 3 women firefighters, but they represent so much more, as you just said. So thank you again for all the support and for becoming a nerdy Wikipedian along with the rest of us. Welcome to a crazy universe. I don't know if you can check out anytime you like, but you will certainly never leave. I should probably put on there we go, the video at this point. And Mariana, is this a good time to sort of ask for questions? And there are a few that have come up already. So as people think about what they want to ask, I think it was Erica who asked about a little more around the connection between structured data, so Wikidata Commons and Wikipedia. What is the relationship? Could you talk a little bit more about that? And everyone else, if you have a question, either raise your hand using the nice little hand icon on the bottom left-hand side of your screen, or use the chat, and I will come back to you in a bit. Over to you, Mariana.
Great. Let me share the screen again. And let me tell you that I finally was able to upload the Monica Michelena image, because the problem was the title. There was another file with the same title, so I just added a 2 here to indicate that there is another file. So just this is the little things that you have to take in account, little details that sometimes make difficult to do this, but I just I changed the title, and that's all. Well, I am not a really expert on structured data on Wikipedia, Wikidata, and Commons, but I can show you some simple things here. If everyone knows more about structured data, you are welcome to add some comments on that. But the idea is to connect items on Wikimedia Commons to items on Wikidata. Let me show you what is Wikidata. Wikidata is a huge database, an open database, totally free, totally open, in which everything of the world can be added. Everything that exists in some way. So each Wikipedia article has a Wikidata item. Each person that are in Wikipedia has a Wikidata item, but people that aren't on Wikipedia can have a Wikidata item. That is very common, and actually the gender gap on Wikidata is not so deep that on Wikipedia. There are a better balance on Wikidata in terms of gender. Not perfect, not there is not totally equal, but it's better than on Wikipedia. So if you go, for instance, to you can search here for people. For instance, let's search Frida Kahlo, for instance.
Mariana, can you share your screen? I'm not able to see it.
Oh no! Let me start again.
I can see it, but I can't see it as full screen. So you just have to make it full screen for everybody. Just in case that's a problem for anyone else.
Can you see it now?
I can see it, but not yet as full screen. Hang on, let me just
full
try.
Screen.
There we go.
That was the problem. Yes.
See. Okay. Well, perfect. Gracias, amiga.
This is Wikidata, the front page of Wikidata, and I was just searching here to find the item of. Oh, sorry. You can search items here, and this is an item of for Frida Kahlo. And there are images. The images are on Wikimedia Commons, actually, are stored there. And when you have an image here on Wikimedia Commons, you can add you can link this image with Wikidata items. For instance, let me see if Monica has an item. No, there is no item for Monica in this case. I can create the item later, and I can link the item with the photo. Because there is an item of VisibleWikiWomen. I will add the item just to create a relation. It's not mandatory, but it's something that I do. I don't know if other users do the same. But the idea is to have more structured descriptions of each thing object on Wikimedia Commons. That way, for instance, this is good for human to search, for machine learning to improve their algorithms. It has a lot of good applications. So the only thing you need to do is to relate the item with the picture with an item on Wikidata. It isn't mandatory, but it's something useful. And if the more useful is when the woman already exists on Wikidata, and you connect both. So another interesting thing to do during the editathon, if you want to, is to create this kind of elements. Is easy. You can, for instance, I can search Monica Michelena. No, there is no items by her name, but I can create the item if I want to. Let me show you. There is no item. Oh, I lose the well, let me back to this later when I can find the option. But yes, the idea is that you can create this kind of items here because it's more easy that create a Wikipedia article, and then you can connect both the picture and the data. There is something more. Another question.
So just a quick, just to add a little bit. One is, Mariana, as I understand it, and I think there are those who understand Wikidata even better on this call, but Wikidata I think of as an index for content, both more broadly on the internet, but also on Wikimedia projects. And so, for instance, you can add an item to Wikidata that may not yet have an item, have an article on Wikipedia. For example, in the improbable case that there is no article for farmer in the English Wikipedia, then, or firefighter, then you can add a data item that says firefighter and describe what a firefighter is, and so on, right? And then as Wikipedia, English Wikipedia, Spanish Wikipedia, the different Wikipedias, as well as Wikimedia Commons gets multimedia on farmer, that gets added to the Wikidata item. Is that correct?
Exactly. It's that correct.
Yeah. Okay, so just making sure that everyone understands that Wikidata, the reason it's slightly confusing is that Wikidata is newer than other Wikimedia projects. So you think of it as coming afterwards, but actually if you think of it as the index for all content, a structured data index, then yes, it helps with cross-referencing. It helps with going down the rabbit hole of what the Spanish Wikipedia article on Frida Kahlo says versus the English Wikipedia article on Frida Kahlo, for instance. There are over 200 language versions of Wikipedia, and each of them is written by humans differently. So each article on a person can be different based on which language that article is in. So that's another little thing for newbies to know. It's fascinating, and for those of us who are lucky enough to be bi or multilingual, it is a wonderful rabbit hole to go down, which is to compare language versions. I'll stop there.
Exactly. Thank you, Anasuya. That's fascinating. And let me show you just quickly how to add an item, because I found the option. Sorry. Let me show you. When you search a name that doesn't exist yet on Wikidata, if it doesn't exist, you can create the new item here. Create a new item. Just clicking here. And you can select the language in you will work. Let's do it in English. And with create, you can start adding statements about the person of any other thing that you are adding on Wikidata. In this case, you have to say that this is a human. This is a human. You can say another things. You can say that it is a woman. What is her country? What is her profession, etc. In gender, there is a lot of options. So Wikidata isn't binary, which is great. In this case, normally I select woman. In this case, but there is, sorry. And that's all. I can continue adding data about Patricia. And you can create items and you can add the image. I will add the occupation and the country. And I will add the image now. If I type Patricia, yes. The image is linked with the item. You can add more information if you have it, but this is a good way to start making a woman biography, because sometimes, as many of you know, it's difficult to start on Wikipedia because it's more difficult to create a new article, and sometimes some Wikipedia users have the tendency to delete women biographies, but it's safer to start on Wikidata. Probably this item won't be deleted. If I try to start a biography of Patricia, I will need to gather many sources about her notability, and I think that she is notable. But maybe I will need to make a research and take my time to research to create the Wikipedia article. To create a Wikidata item, you have to research, but for Wikipedia you need more information, and more sources. So my recommendation, if you want to make an additional step to your uploads, you can create items for the women you upload. There is another question. I think that the chat. Erica said, if we can add some Wikidata video tutorials in the other part, I will.
I'm just looking for Asaf's, in fact, right now. But either Mariana or I will for sure. Again, another wonderful rabbit hole to go down. But to check on images again, to come back to today's editathon, are there other questions from folks? Could you raise your hand or at this point just unmute maybe and ask a question?
Mm-hmm.
I think you did such a brilliant job, Mariana. No one has questions.
But it's important for you to know that I only showed you 2 cases when I have my own file authored by me, and when I have a file authored by other with an open license visible in the archive. But there are other possible cases. For instance, you can upload a copyrighted image, but for instance, an image that you take from the Facebook or Twitter profile of the person. If you upload that image, and you don't clarify the copyright situation, probably the image will be deleted. So there is a procedure to tell Wikimedia Commons admins that you have the permission, or you are looking for the permission from the original author. It's a procedure that takes like some weeks, and there is a team on Wikimedia Commons that can check if you really have the permissions to share that image. The author needs to send an email to say, hey, I agree with share this image on Wikimedia Commons. It's more a little bit complex, and not always has a result at the end, but it's an option. And there is in our path we have in our resources we have a specific resources for that situation, and there are another situations. For instance, if you are creating your own illustration of a person based on a photo, there are different cases that you can explore in our path, looking in the links that are under more learning resources.
I think this is a really important example, Mariana, because this is the example that most people will actually have, right? So for many of us, let me just put my video on quickly. For many of us, we might have someone we really admire who, say, for instance, is a living person, and who we believe is a notable woman, should come on, but we don't know whether their images are openly licensed or not. So we may reach out to them and ask them for permission, as Mariana is saying. And the process of asking them for permission is something that does have 1 or 2 steps. And as Mariana is saying, you would have to ask them first whether they can openly license it according to Wikipedia Creative Commons licenses, which currently are CC by SA 4.0. And if they say yes, then you have to ask them to send an email to, as Mariana said, the Wikimedia Commons administrators, who will then check that this is a bona fide, legitimate person giving legitimate copyright permissions for their image to be used on Wikimedia Commons. And the reason this happens, and often as activists or as feminists or as non-Wikimedians, we wonder why this is. And the reason is to protect the copyright of those who need to have them protected, right? We don't want people to just exploit others and to exploit images. And so this is why this process is sometimes feels as cumbersome as it does, but recognizing that it is in order to protect us and the copyrights we wish to have in the world is, I think, important. Tam asks, do we have to ask both the subject of the photo and the photographer? The actual permission has to come from the photographer. So the person who takes the photograph has to give the permission. Often, though, the way that you get to that photographer is through the person, because the person is the one who knows who the photographer is, right? So, Mariana, do you want to show an example? Just, Nat just did this, right, with a few examples. Nat, do you want to talk through the process you did or you used, or would you like Mariana and me to do that?
Yeah, I can. You can step in if you want to.
Yeah, why don't you? I think that'll be fun. Mariana, can you throw up which image would you like to talk about?
Let's see. Oh, maybe Alex's.
Alex Johnson's. Mariana, would you throw up Alex Johnson firefighter image?
Yes, I have it.
Perfect. Here we go.
Here is Alex Johnson.
Yeah, so I got in touch with Alex. Obviously, I explained what the campaign was and that it needed to be an image that she owned. So she sent me back this one, and when I put it through, it wasn't accepted, obviously, because it looks like a very professional photograph. So I had to get back in touch with her and say that there was a problem. And basically she said that it was her husband that took the photo on her camera. So yeah, that's what I had to then ask her to get back in touch with the admin to relate that piece of information, and then the image was accepted. But yeah, each one of the images that I did put forward, that there was it wasn't an instant hit. But yeah, patience, a little bit of patience, and a little bit of a workaround, and can be done.
Yes, you can see here in the summary of the image that there is a permission section, and there is like a template here. This is a standard that Wikimedia Commons use to show that there is a permission. This work is free and may be used by anyone for any purpose. If you wish to use this content, you do not need to request permission as long as you follow any licensing requirements mentioned on this page. Wikimedia Foundation has received an email confirming that the copyright holder has approved publication under the terms mentioned on this page. Well, all of this sounds like a very technical in some way, but this is the correct thing. This is an indication that there was a process of review of the image. There was actually a ticket here that indicates that volunteers, trusted volunteers, made the review. And this is transparency here in Wikimedia Commons. There is a policy on transparency for this kind of situation because, as Anasuya said, it is critical to not exploit or to not misuse works under copyright in a way that can not fit with the other wishes. So that's why the authors release the images under this license. A Creative Commons license is a way to let the world know that you, as an author, as a photographer, are agree to share the image with anyone, but you have to say it concretely. You have to say explicitly using the license. That's why this we need all this process. And regarding with personality rights, the own image right that each person has under their own images is different to the copyright rights. Permissions is a right that belongs to the portrayed person, and in this case it is important to you when to upload images that you are sure that the portrayed person is agree to share their own image. If the image is on the internet, you probably there is no problem to share that. But if it's an image that will be online for the first time, especially if it's an image you take from other person, if you can contact the person and just ask, hey, you are agree to be on Wikimedia Commons, that's better, because the personality and image rights aren't the same of copyright. Copyright is for you, and the personal rights, the image rights, are for the person portrayed.
So, Mariana, a couple of really good points that have come up on the chat. Crystal points out, and I think it's really important to mention, that all of these trusted volunteers who work as OTRS, is what we call it, the response team for Commons and other Wikimedia queries and emails, they all sign a non-disclosure agreement that promises never to give away private information in any way, because obviously they're reading our emails and so on. And so they all sign an NDA, and it's very important that everyone who's on this call and who might be watching us and listening to us knows that. So thanks very much, Crystal, for just mentioning that. And then Jim also has added a template around personality rights and on consent, because as Erica says, making sure that we're taking into consideration personal and copyright is a really important feminist practice of consent. So thanks for that. The one other practical thing I thought, Mariana, that might be useful to mention is that in cases like this where you've got an image, you want to upload it, you know that the person is going to send permission, but they haven't yet. And in fact, they can only send permission, that the email text giving permissions for openly licensed images, if the image is on Wikimedia Commons. So it's a little bit of the chicken and the egg. The image goes up and you send the file URL with the permissions text to these admins, right? And so there's a template that you can put up as you upload the image, which essentially says to these administrators, hang on a sec, don't worry, the email is on its way. This may not yet be openly licensed, but you will have permission very, very soon. And so the template just asks administrators not to take down that image till they have received the permissions email. And all of this is in our resources around giving and getting consent, as well as when you use the upload wizard that Mariana talked about, it prompts you to put that template up if you are uploading an image that will get consent and permission, but doesn't yet have it. Mariana, here's another question. How can one create categories on Wikimedia Commons or Wikipedia that does not exist, but feel like it's necessary for it to be added? That's a great question, one that all of us also think about a lot. Here's the category rabbit hole, Mariana. Over to you.
Great. You can create categories on the fly in any moment on Wikimedia Commons. It's easy. Normally, you will create a category for the person, for instance, because if more images of the same persons appear in the future and other users add the same category, all the images will be together, and that's useful for users to find the images and to use it. So let me show you my screen once more time. The categories on the file are at the bottom, and for instance, the Alex is in the category firefighters, and there is a category especially for her. This category doesn't exist yet. That's why it's in red, because it's an empty link. The page of each category is a page. Let me show you. It's linked to a page. So Alex hasn't a category yet. I can add more categories. To do that, I am using a tool on Commons that allows me to do it visually, but the traditional way is using Wikicode. If I click on Edit Source, you are looking at the Wikicode, and the categories are here. So if I want to add another category, for instance, the only thing that I need to do is create, for instance, something like this. Oh, sorry. And I probably will need to delete this category, because on Commons, categories are more like Russian dolls, when one category contains another and another and another. So there are hierarchical. So in this case, Alex is a firefighter, but maybe she is something more specific. She's a British firefighter. So probably I will need to delete the previous category and just leave this. And if I publish the change, the new category will appear. Let me see if the British firefighter exists. I am not sure. Maybe not. No, doesn't exist. But it is only an example. How I can add Alex to the fighters category? Let me show you. If I click on the category name, which is in red, and if I added the category firefighters, Alex is under that category in this moment. So the category Alex Johnson is under this category, firefighters.
And just to add, this is where you see the difference between something that is red linked and blue linked. And you'll see this over and over again on any Wikimedia project. A page that has text on it has content of any kind. It may just be hello world, which is your user page. That will be blue linked. If it doesn't have any content on it, it would be red linked. And here's another good tip for especially this process with this campaign. As you create user accounts as newbies, you want to put some text into your user account. So your user page, Mariana, you might want to show your user page once more. And the reason it's important to have some text there is because that's the other thing that admins look at. They look at your user page to know that you are a legitimate human being and not someone trying to spam Wikimedia projects or malevolent in any way, malicious in any way. So just making sure that you write something is really important. And that's where it goes from the red linked page to the blue linked page. And it's one of the reasons that there are many women's groups across the Wikimedia movement who talk about Women in Red as their project, right? And that's a partner group of us because it's about women whose articles should exist, but they don't have content yet. So just to add that little tip.
Exactly. This is my user page, and you can create a user page for you, and you can do the same on Wikipedia, for instance. And that's this is important for because this is a community at the end of the day. And when you started using Wikipedia or Wikimedia Commons, probably you will start to receive message notices and alerts and messages, and people will start to talk to you. So that's why it is important to have an identity, to show that you are transparent or trusted person. But another important thing is you can keep your anonymity if you want to. You don't need to reveal many data about you. If it's important, if privacy is important for you, you can use a username, which is a nickname. Mine is Señorita Leona. And you can say what you want to say here. You don't need to reveal all your private life if you don't want to. But it's important to create a kind of identity to interact with users on the Wikimedia world. Yes, as Crystal is saying, for instance, LGBT plus people from Chechnya, for instance, she didn't recommend to put nothing on the on your user page. So you can decide what to say. In cases, there are different cases. For instance, LGBTQ activists in a violent context, probably they would like to hidden their identity, but for instance, a staff person of Wikimedia Foundation, normally they create a complete profile to give transparency when they are editing Wikipedia. So there are many different cases, but the important thing is there is no real name or real identity requirement on Wikipedia and Wikimedia, and the community is really take care on the bad actors and bad uses of the user account. For instance, when a person starts, when a user starts having a strange behavior, maybe that person can be a puppet or a fake, trying to attack other people or create biased content. Well, the community takes care on that kind of situation. So in one hand, anonymity and pseudonymity is allowed, and the community encourage you to use pseudonym if you need it. But in the other hand, the community takes care on safety and on trust and safety for community members. So yeah, so if you don't feel comfortable sharing your real name, it's totally fine. Anasuya is saying that she puts their organizational affiliation, for instance.
And that's because I have identities that are very public and transparent in the movement. And as Sarah's making the point, which is also really important, some of the work that she does on Wikipedia is officially through work as part of Wikimedia UK, which is the UK chapter of the Wikimedia movement. And that was the same when I was at the Wikimedia Foundation. And then there are your individual volunteer work. So one thing just for you to know is that by Wikimedia norms, if you are paid as part of an institution, right? That is a Wikimedia institution, for instance, your editing of content can only be related directly to your work. So Kristalina will edit content that is related to her everyday work at the Wikimedia Foundation, potentially. But then editing Wikipedia or content or putting up images on Commons, that's you as an individual volunteer, and you want to make that very separate, which is why when we are part of Wikimedia organizations, you will find that many of us have separate individual accounts, as Sarah is pointing out, and work accounts. So I used to have that when I was at the foundation, for instance, just as Sarah did. I hope that helps everyone. Are there any other burning issues? Otherwise, Mariana, I know we're at time, so I just want to make sure there's anyone else sitting with any major issues they ask, and after that we can go into next steps. Yeah?
Yeah. Let's go to the next steps. And let me show you again my screen. Here is the pad. You will find all the information, the relevant information in the pad. In the next days, from now to Monday, to the end of the Monday, you can work uploading your images in any moment that is good for you. So if you need help, I recommend to you to start reading if you are a newbie, to reading the guide on how to upload images to Wikimedia Commons and the other guides that can help you, and we will add more if you need it. And also there is this spreadsheet with names. If you like to search for information and images about these women, or maybe you want to add another name here, you can do that. This is a collaborative document to work together on what we want to do during the editathon, but you can use it or not if you have other images, or if you just found images online. You can use it, and then if you want to, you can add it to the list just to know what images we have. If you have it, please add the license information here, just in case we need to check that with a Wikimedia admin, or if some image is nominated for deletion. This is we can check if the license is okay. So if you have the license information, it will be nice. And don't forget to use the campaign wizard, because if you use it, the VisibleWikiWomen category will be added automatically. Remember the CC license that are allowed. And remember that there can be historic photos in all archives. For instance, the British Library or many museums can have all images that are in the public domain. You can use that also. So this is the things that the important things that you have to take in mind. If you want to, you can leave your username there once you create it, and there are different tips if you need more ideas on how to find the images. Please use the hashtag on social media if you want to share it. And let me add the hashtag. Here. VisibleWikiWomen. And that's all. I think that we are done. And if you need more help, please ping us on Twitter and Instagram, or just send us an email. I will be checking emails during the weekend and on Monday. And there will be another session on for a Q&A and to solve problems. The session will be on Monday at
2 o'clock.
2 o'clock UTC.
2 o'clock UTC. See.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I'll add that to the Etherpad if it's not there. But also, yes, all the different social media avenues. And now you also know where our user pages